I just got off the phone with my mom and we were talking for a really long time. And our conversation called to mind a um, a dream that I had, and I had this dream about 3 months ago. But the conversation we were having reminded me of this dream so strongly that I actually started crying and getting all emotional on her and stuff. So I'm just going to start with explaining the dream. So, in this dream, it was, first of all, it was just like the presence of God was so strong in this dream, just like was the, it was just so pure joy and pure just happiness and pure, like every good emotion that you could think to feel. It was just that in its purest form, to the point that whenever I was waking up from this dream and I felt that presence just kind of pulling away, I was like, no, no, don't leave. Please come back. Please come back. I was just like, begging him to come back because his presence is just so, that's just how rich it is. That's just how, it's everything you've ever wanted. Like what do we even do all this stuff on earth for, right? All the stuff that we do on earth, what do we do it for? Um, we do it for the emotions of joy, happiness, good feelings. It doesn't get any more basic than that. You can trace everything that we do on earth back to trying to achieve those feelings of happiness, joy, contentment, security, all this stuff. But what people don't realize is that's God. Like, people say that they don't want God. They say that they don't want him, and they kind of like kind of give this reaction, like, whenever God is mentioned, they're just kind of whatever, but they don't understand that his presence, whenever you experience, it's all of those good feelings that you thought that you had to strive so hard to achieve. Like, you think that you have to alter your mind, you think you have to alter your state of consciousness, or you think you have to bust your butt for some promotion to get whatever, some form of happiness. And oh, if I just get to that next thing, if I can just get to that next thing, if I can just have this, or as soon as I get this type of schedule, I'll be happy. As soon as I get to this, I'll be happy. What people don't realize is that that power, that presence of this, the whole, like, loving God, just exactly, he is a loving God, and just his essence of who he is those feelings of just pure joy, intense laughter, even just like such contentment and wonder and amazement. And that's another thing, is some people think that if you believe in God, that your discovery is like turned off, that you're like small-minded or narrow-minded, or that you think everything is like just lofty faith. And that couldn't be further from the truth. That is a straight up lie. I have only been following Jesus for 2 years, and I have never had so much amazement and wonderment and passive discovery, just trails of discovery that he just leads me on. I haven't had a dull moment in 2 years. Okay, like, it's exciting stuff, just one thing after another after another. I think he knows. I mean, of course he knows. He created me this way. He knows that I like to keep my mind busy, and I keep my mind busy, and that he just keeps, you know, showing me these things. Like, okay, let me put it into perspective. Some of you are going to know what I'm talking about. Some people aren't. Well, I mean, already, but just as an example, um, think of a moment when you've been studying something, learning something, and then for the longest time that maybe there was a certain part of it that you didn't get or whatever. And then you have this moment where something clicks and you're like, oh, whoa, like a just huge light bulb goes off, right? That has happened to me more times in the past 2 years that I've been following Jesus than it ever happened in the first 22 years of my life. Like it did happen, maybe a handful of times in the first 22 years of my life, but these past 2 years is just over. God is like nonstop with this amazing you. Like he wants to wow and amaze you. And no, you absolutely do not shun your intellectual side whenever you follow God. Like that is a lie. Like who all I know there's millions and millions of people that believe that. Millions of people believe that, and it's so sad that they just think that if you're following God, you're following Jesus, that you're small-minded, you believe things that you were taught as a kid and you've just taken it all by faith and that you just don't think anymore. Okay, that is so far from the truth. Because really God helps to create, like fill in more like gaps of the picture into where like nothing is off limits. You can learn about literally anything. Like if you didn't believe in God, you couldn't really learn about spiritual things or biblical things or whatever. But with God, like nothing is off limits, and it's the discovery is just so enriching. I have never felt more intellectually like stimulated than all of the learning I've done with God in the past 2 years. And like he knows that about me because he created me to be that way, where he knows that I like to have my mind like busy, like fulfilled intellectually like that. I love learning. And so for people to say that faith is just this bland whatever, or maybe they think that, it's just a lie. It's a lie straight from the enemy. Um, if you're interested in that sort of thing, um, you have all these people. So Alistair McGrath is so awesome with that. I'm not really sure all the degrees that he has. He has a PhD in something. I'm not sure what type of science it is, but I guess he's a former atheist, and so now he believes in God and he follows Jesus, and he says that these two experiences, science and God, enrich each other greatly, and he just has a brilliant mind. Um, I'm telling you, like, there is just nothing more fascinating than discovering things with God. Um, and it really goes on every level. It's not just this or that. It's not just intellectually or emotionally. First of all, it's both, but it's also on a level of having your needs met in the strangest ways. Um, God comes through time and time again, and I have plenty of stories on this, but I'll have to get back to that on another video. And you just have these super odd occurrences in your life that are just too perfect that you just know it's God. And people think that they have to wait for some big moment in their life to for fellowship and relationship with God. But really, it's in your day-to-day life that you can um it's just so many little things that if you're paying attention, you will see them, you know? I want to actually challenge some of you right now to, if you want, I mean, this is totally up to you. Obviously, you don't even have to be watching this video, but if you want to, say a prayer to God and say, I'm curious about I'm curious about this. God, will you begin to point out things to me or just reveal your, begin to, say like, I'm curious about this relationship with you. I want to see some of this stuff. And then start paying attention, like just start paying attention. But the thing about this is, if you really want this experience here, you have to be open to like the true God. Like you have to think like who is the truth? Like I want to know the truth. You can't just be like, oh well, you know, um uh God, like the universe and stuff like that's nice and everything, but like he wants to be real to you and he doesn't want to basically I think what a lot of people do is when stuff like that happens and they are paying attention, they want to turn it and say, oh, that's karma, oh, that's luck, oh, that's this, oh, that's that. And I don't think God is willing to entertain those things with people. So just keep that like in your heart, like open that you want to know the truth. Like if there's a truth, if there is an absolute truth in this world, that you may want to know it because I mean, who wouldn't? But I'm just saying. So anyway, yeah, like it's just incredible that it's so okay. Most people think, well, I don't want to say most people, a lot of people, you could just tell if you ever have like a some sort of conversation with people where you hear them talk about this stuff, that they think that if you were to choose to follow God, that your life would be boring. That it's don't do this, don't do that, don't, do this, don't do this. That your life would be super boring and constricted. It's the exact opposite. It's freedom. It is such rich freedom. You can't get anything like it anywhere else from anything. It is such release. It is such freedom. Um, It's excitement, it's amazement, it's joy, it's contentment, it's everything you've ever wanted, and you don't even have to like break your back for it, okay? But what I mean by freedom, let's talk about that. What do we want to be free from? Um, some people are so used to their chains. Okay, we're talking about chains like spiritual chains with which, or you can call them metaphorical or however you want to refer to them. Some people are so used to their chains that it's normalized to them and they think that this is it, that this is life and they have to accept it. And so here we go. When I talk about chains, I'm talking about anxiety. First of all, I'm just going to name a few short things. Anxiety. And whenever I say anxiety, I don't want to make that seem just like little, like worrying about things. Like, no. I mean the type of anxiety that has your brain fogged up to the point where you just can't process anything and you're struggling to function, and the type of anxiety that's just could even be crippling to the point where you're just like crying on the stairs. All right, I've been there. Just saying. So that can be a chain. Anxiety, depression can be a chain where it's taking all that you just don't even want to get out of bed. Like you just think about your future and draw a blank and you're just like, what do I even have to look forward to? I just don't, it just feels like this heavy weight is just pressing down on your soul and you're just like, just so drained. Okay? Depression is a chain. Um, all these disorders and mental afflictions and and things like that. There's even health issues, lots and lots of health issues. These people are getting diagnosed with this stuff, and they have accepted it to where they think they have to live in that slavery to that mental or that medical condition for the rest of their lives, and they just accept it like these are the cards that I've been dealt. And sometimes it is. I don't want to downplay that in any way because I know some people live lives that are full of pain and stuff. Okay, here's the thing though. I want to tell you that I was one of those people that I was used to those chains and it was normal for me. And I'm going to get into a testimony video and talk a little bit about um, how it was like before. But so I was one of those people. I just thought, depression was a part of life, anxiety was a part of life, this crippling, all of these crippling like emotional torment. It's there we go, torment, torment. That's what it is. I thought all of this torment was just a part of life that I just had to either accept or climb my way out. Just climb your fingernail, climb your way out. Like you have to pack on this. Yeah, basically, like if we're talking about, a backpack full of like steel, like balls, that each ball is like something, terribly heavy. If you have this backpack, you just have to keep rucking, keep rucking. That's what I thought. I think that's what most people think. The key is you don't have to live in slavery to this anymore. This is slavery. We're slaving to this, and it goes beyond anxiety and depression. There's social pressures, there's societal pressures, there's pressures to provide for your family, there's pressures to make enough money, there's, financial pressures, all this stuff. But, when Jesus says stuff like, whoever will seek his own life out to gain it will lose his life. But whoever will lay down his life for my sake will find it. You may toss that around and think, okay, well, that's cool. But what that means is this backpack you've got full of these heavy, whatever it is, these chains, these ball and chains that are just like you just feel like you got to keep rucking and climbing that mountain, and one day you'll make it, and one day you'll make it, and one day you'll make it. He's inviting you, guys. He's inviting you to lay that down. He's inviting you to lay it down and let him take it, Like, this is the kind of God that we have, and thank God, but he wants to take that from you so you don't have to deal with it anymore. And just imagine, like, the weightlessness of just, wow, like you've set down all these chains have been loosed from you, you can set it all down, and whenever it clicks, whenever it finally clicks and you've finally accepted Jesus as your Savior and you've really turned your life over to Christ, that he's inviting you to lay these things down. It's like these things start breaking off of you, these chains that you just thought were a part of you, a part of your personality. They're not. They just start breaking off of you one after one after one. It's just gone, 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 and you're done, done, done. And he just releases you, just, and sometimes he does it slowly, like one thing will go, and then after a few months of teaching you about those things, he'll let another thing go and free you from another thing, and after teaching you about other things, he'll start letting another thing go. But, you know, upon initially receiving Christ and you've said, okay, God, I want to have a relationship with you, I want you to live with me in my spirit, upon saying that, that first initial He is just like washing that stuff off of you, just bam, bam, bam. And it is the most freeing experience I've ever had in my life. And it doesn't really leave you. He never leaves you. Um, After I had that experience, um, I was never alone ever again after that. And, I think loneliness is a huge thing for some people because electronics have separated us and work has separated us and, all this stuff has separated us. But, I haven't felt lonely in 2 years. And I used to be the most lonely, attention seeking, dependent on people, needing attention. And it's gone. Like, I have perfect communion. Well, not perfect, but I have a relationship, a perfect communion with God where, I can wake up in the morning and pray and like, you can actually spend time with God. Like, do you know that? Like, you can actually spend time with the creator, not only of the universe, but of the earth, of the animals, of the everything, of every person that's ever existed. He knows everything about you, every detail, things that you probably don't want him to know, but you know what? He created everything anyway. Like, you can have a daily, day-to-day relationship with him. So anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. Um, So that's all well and good. So I'm gonna tell you about this dream. Um, this dream that I had. Oh, that's what got me off topic. So this dream that I had was I felt the presence of God in this dream, and it was Jesus. He was talking to me in my dream, and when he's talking, we're talking like it's just like your thoughts are just projected out. There was no physical to it. It was just your thoughts were just projected out, and that's how we were communicating. So he was talking to me and I was listening, and I think this was just his heart. And most of this, I want to just say this before I go into this dream, most of this wasn't words. It was just understanding. Like some of it was just this understanding was being like poured into me, and I could feel his heart. And some of it was words, most of it was just understanding. And his heart was so sad, grieved. He's very grieved. And what he said to me was, first he was explaining to me how much he loves each and every one of his children. He treasures everyone. He treasures each individual. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter what you've said. He treasures you. Like, you're just so precious to him, and he just loves you so much. Um, he was trying to convey that to me, and then he said, I have made it so easy. Um, he said, I have made it so easy for my children to be saved. Um, he said, I have prepared a place for them, each and every one, in heaven for eternally, because it says that God has put eternity in the heart of man. So really, we long for eternity. We don't want our legacy to end on earth. Obviously, like deep, deep, deep down, we want to live on. And he said that he's prepared that for us. He's given that to us as a free gift. Um, so he said he's prepared a glorious place for each of his children, um, that is beyond anything we've ever seen, with no tears, no pain, nothing but joy, things we have never experienced before that will just be amazement and wonderment just over and over and over, like just endless, endless. This is it. It's endless. Um, so he said, I've prepared a place for each one of my children for eternity, and I have made it so easy for them. He said, I have done all the legwork. I have done all the work. I came down to earth. I accepted the most brutal death. Um, he had a life of pure humility where he didn't own anything. He owned nothing, you know. Um, he was the lowest on earthly standards. He was like the lowest of the people, and he said, I accepted the most brutal beating and death in order to make a huge bound closer to my children so that they can be with me, so that they can know their creator, so that they can be taken care of. I accepted that death so that I could be reunited with my children. I accepted my death so that they can live on in eternity. Um, he also said, all I ask of them is that they believe. That's it. He said, I'm not asking them to die. I'm not asking them to, you know, make some huge martyr display. Like, this is more like understanding that's being poured into my spirit. Like, I'm not asking them to die. All I ask is that they believe. He basically what he was saying to me is that it is so, so simple. It's very simple. And he says, I just ask that they believe in me and trust in me. And then he closed with, but they won't even do that. You know? God is such a holy God that he would be perfectly justified to say, the way you get into heaven is you live like, you know, you have to die a brutal death. Like, let's just say that, you know, and that would be justified to this is a temporary life, but he doesn't. Yes, it does say that Christians will be persecuted and some will be put to death. Yes, but he doesn't say that that is a requirement. He says, I've already done that. I did that so that you may have an enriching life. And all he requires from us is that we believe. But what really was on his heart that he was sharing with me in this dream, to sum it up, is I have made it so simple, but they still won't. I think that sums it up just perfectly. I have made it so simple, but they still won't. He's not asking, you know, like he's giving us everything that we could possibly dream of, and all he asks is that we, you know, believe in him. Of course, in following Christ, we lay down our earthly lives. We do. Um, but it is nothing compared. Like, first of all, my life has been so much better. Um, it is nothing compared for what he's done for us. So that was my dream. And what got me started on this topic, it's just, you know, that's all. That's all I want to say. And I really hope that you guys are having a blessed day.